Live comfortably. Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else, right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so
Okay,
I can
come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, CNBC News, and NBC Sports. KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, Tiki Live, Rumble, JioSaavn, Podchaser, and more. I am Dr. Marissa, your hashtag positively opinionated host who likes you to not focus on gossip or scandal or K words. Kardashian or Kanye talk. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So, if you've missed any of the past, what are we on now? 879 shows. Just go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Marissa Free, subscribe there. You'll get all of the past shows as well as my red carpet playlist, interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta. Wasn't he great in that commercial during the Super Bowl? He still got it. And you'll see him giving me not one, but two hugs and a whole host of other wonderful people that I've gotten to meet. And it's a wonderful occupational hazard of this show that I get invited to cover red carpets. And I'm just delighted to provide that service and meet people and get to know. And yesterday, if you missed that show, I got the Waltons on into my studio, and I had Mary Ellen, I had the baby Elizabeth, I had Ben, and of course the mom, Michael Learned, who is also the grandmother of Jeffrey Dahmer on the Netflix show Dahmer, The Lives. Can't remember the full title, but it has gotten it's over 1 billion views now, which is like crazy, crazy, crazy. But the fascination, I mean, it is that I did watch it, and I know a lot of my friends are like, I can't watch that. It's a little too creepy for me. But it was very well done and did not, I mean, it scared you, but it wasn't like a horror movie. It was tastefully done, I thought. But what was so interesting to me about the Dahmer series or the show on Netflix was it was a sad reflection on the intentional or unintentional bias towards white men. The fact that that one victim was returned, and he had, without spoiler alert, like basically given him a lobotomy, so he wasn't in his right mind. He was returned to Jeffrey Dahmer, and it was just like, what? But the police, who had been warned and called and notified, it was like, gonna return him to Jeffrey Dahmer. So anyways, that was one of the things that was like, wow, that was kind of sad. Hopefully we are not still in that era. I know we're working on it, and you know me, I try to do the most that I can for valuing diversity and also to balance the scales so that Black and Brown people are not looked down on or given less opportunity. And it is a process, but what you permit, you promote. So it might be might be a balance challenge for you to look at how you are unintentionally being biased. And I'll tell you, the first thing that I coach people on is, if you are accused of being a racist by something you said or did, instead of reacting to, I can't believe you just called me a racist, and I can't believe you just said I was, and I'm not, I eat Chinese food, and I, have collard greens. And it's like, well, if you reduce a race to the food, that's probably one symptom of, not valuing the entire race. So I always say that, not always, but most of the time I say the first step is not to get pissed when you are given that feedback, and just explore that and, help me understand what I said to lead you to that accusation or that feedback. And that begins the dialogue. And I think that's where we get to do more than just react. And that brings up my guest that's coming in March. you actually saw her. If you haven't watched the show, it was a fascinating show. I got to interview two granddaughters, one of a Auschwitz survivor, and the other granddaughter is the granddaughter of Hitler's lawyer who was sentenced in the Nuremberg trials to death. And the two of them had a conversation first at the museum where I found them. I was covering that story. Some of you know I do broadcast journalism and on-site, on-location news reporting for a New York news agency. And I found them and I invited them on the show, and they were gracious enough to come. She's coming back, Dr. Francisca Frank, and she has a new book out. And so she'll be here in studio, I think March 14th or 15th. But I absolutely did not intend to talk about diversity this morning, but it got triggered by the Waltons' grandmother, who was Michael Learned, who was on my show yesterday, and the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. So there you go. That's how my mind works. But what are we talking about today? Today is actually National Love Reset Day. I didn't even know that existed. So I go to National Today to see what special things are being highlighted. And this particular national holiday looks at maybe, I talked about this yesterday and the day before around how to have the best Valentine's ever. And one of the things that happens during Valentine's is unmet expectations. So the premise of Love Reset Day is maybe your relationship or your romance isn't cut out to all it could be. So this is a day to self-reflect and look at, is my romance strategy working? If you want not to be single, or if you're in a relationship and it is not happy making 80% of the time, that's usually how I say, if you're happy 80% of the time in your relationship, stay. If there's 20% of the time that, you know, they drive you crazy, that's okay. It's nothing's perfect. Relationships aren't perfect that way. However, if you are 80% happy with it, stay. But if you're continue to be focused on the 20%, that's your work. So focusing on that 80%. But if it's not 80% happy, then maybe today's the day you want to reset. And I know that I have fought with a guest of mine for years. She came on my show. She was on Oprah, I think 4 times, and on the Asian Oprah 5 times. And if you're wondering how, I did not call myself Asian Oprah, by the way. It was an honorable moniker given to me by my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, when he introduced me to Oprah as the Asian Oprah. And she looked at me, looked down, looked at me, smiled, and said, "Nice pants." And the most difficult time for me was that moment of, should I say, "Do you want them?" To get a compliment from Oprah was a beautiful thing. But anyways, I invited Dr. Pat Allen, and she has a huge fan base. She is delightful. She is also the therapist, sex therapist on Bravo's Millionaire Matchmaker. So those of you who remember watching that, Patty Stanger and Dr. Pat Allen was the therapist that worked with some of the Millionaire Matchmaker volunteers who were on that show to look at how to have a better relationship. So she has been on my show for Valentine's. It was a tradition for a while there. And so I thought for Love Reset Day that I would highlight one of her 5 visits to my studio, and the number one video on my playlist is actually hers. 23,000 views, I think it is. But I thought I would play, I believe it's her second one I don't know why. We'll see. Because I have been working on my own love strategy, and uh, because I lost the 35 pounds that I did from last Valentine's to this Valentine's, it's official. 5 plus 3 is 8. And you know how much I love the number 8. It's a homophone for good fortune in Chinese. That I thought I would go back and not fight what she's saying, as I usually do, and really listen to see if maybe I've mellowed out in the past 8 years or 9 years since I first went to Dr. Pat Allen and sat on her hot seat, and really this time listen to what she's saying. So I thought I would bring that to you this morning and see what you think. So I'm going to do the breakfast sandwich after this and see if there's anything I can tease out of it in terms of gratitude and appreciation. So here we go. I'm going to bring you now Dr. Pat Allen. And I believe this was 7 years ago, but I'm sure that it is still absolutely applicable. So enjoy. Because I am Chinese, in case you haven't noticed. And the 88 comes from the 8 number, fa, being close to ba, which means good fortune. And that's why I always talk about 8 and 88. So now you know. And it is my Valentine's episode, or for those of us who are single, our Single Awareness Day. And as per tradition, I am so grateful that once again, for the 5th time, I'm going to have to celebrate Valentine's, Dr. Pat Allen on the air. She's a PhD and a licensed marriage, family, child therapist in private practice in LA and Newport Beach, best-selling author and communication and relationship expert, and sought after keynote speaker. She's a transactional analyst and addiction specialist certified by the Harvard Medical School of Addictions, and she's founder of the Want Institute, educators of effective communication strategies. Her books include bestseller Getting to I Do, Conversational Rape, and The Truth About Men Will Set You Free, but first it'll piss you off. Dr. Pat's been on CNN, Fox News, CBS, NBC, E! Entertainment, go-to therapist on The Millionaire Matchmaker, Bravo, 4-time Oprah Winfrey guest, and now 5-time Asian Oprah guest. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Pat Allen again. Thank you, Dr. Pat, for returning. Your shows are
Thank you for having me.
They're all very well listened to, and my YouTubes are up almost 45,000. Can you believe it, in 4 years? And,
I believe it. My radio show is doing well as well.
I know you're
Friday
on
night, 6 to 8 on LA Talk Radio.
I know you.
So
you're now my
if
competition.
you ever want that, here we are.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It is so wonderful to have you, and you're just how young are you now? Every year I ask you this.
Well, when somebody said to me, Pat Allen, you're the youngest teenager I've ever met.
Yes, you are.
I thought that was perfect. I'm 81 years old.
Unbelievable. And you are still doing your Monday nights. For those of you who have not had the pleasure of being in her hot seat, she does a Monday night lecture style audience participation that is really fun.
I do it just once a month now, the first Monday of the month at the Marriott Courtyard by Culver City and Bristol.
Wonderful.
I do one in Orange County on Wednesday night, the first Wednesday of the month, and I do it at the Costa Mesa Community Center at 19th and Park.
Wonderful. So if you haven't been to one of those, you have to go. It's an experience for you to remember. So I'm going to jump right into, on your website, the first banner says, what do you mean? It says, do you want to get laid or do you want to get paid? So let's just start with that one. What do you mean by that?
Well, human beings are subject to addictions in money, sex, and mind-altering chemicals. So people who are having great sex make a lot of dopamine. which if they're not spiritual, godly, and they don't negotiate a friendship first, they will become addicted to the dopamine created by sexuality. Nature's. But if you discipline your nature, you will end up balanced in your nature. And I'm happy to hear that the Chinese red monkey, did you say?
Yes.
Is money-centered. Hallelujah. But did you notice that it's red?
Yes.
Red is the Kundalini chakra color for sexuality. And that means that you've got to balance your sexuality with your money. So with that in mind, if you just want to get laid, you can just go out there and get addicted to somebody who's not right for you.
Okay.
If you want to get paid, what you're doing is you're seeking status and financial security. Harvard did, by the way, the hospital at Harvard that certifies addictions is McLean. It isn't Harvard in general.
Okay.
It is McLean Hospital. So with that in mind, if you want to get paid, you basically know that Harvard did a big research project in the 90s, and they asked 10,000 students at Harvard, why did you mate? That's monogamy, continuity, and exclusivity without a legal document. Or why did you marry? That's mating, longevity, continuity, and exclusivity with a marriage license and a spiritual ceremony. So they found that 2/3 of young people, mostly men and sometimes, often women, want sensual and sexual stability in their mating and in their marriage, more than they want status and financial security. They are often willing to hook up, which is casual sexuality and very susceptible to addiction to dopamine.
That's men,
The
more men than
other-
women.
What?
You just said, is that more men than women, or I think?
Oh, yes.
More men.
Yes.
Okay.
Men love hooking up at no cost. Marriage is not created for men. Men do not wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh, I want status and stability, unless they're 1/3 of men.
Okay.
Those men mate and marry. They're called gigolos.
Okay.
2/3 of women want to mate or marry for status, Mrs. So-and-so, and financial stability to raise children.
2/3 of women.
1/3 of women want stability sensually and sexually. They're called cougars. So cougars go with gigolo men, and ladies go with gentlemen. And gentlemen build a friendship when they negotiate before sexuality. And women are ladies when they require continuity, exclusivity, and monogamy.
So success in relationships is finding someone who's in the 2/3 that is not gigolo, and finding yourself, if you're a woman, in the 2/3 that's not a cougar. Is that about the?
That's exactly
okay,
right.
Okay. So
now I belong to the American Psychological Association, and I belong to the addiction system. And you know what they're finding out?
No.
Women in their estrogen and their large corpus callosum and their sexual identity, especially premenopausal, do not like hooking up because it creates an addiction to the wrong person.
Interesting.
And men, post-andropause, when they've gotten rid of a lot of testosterone and they're now operating on estrogen, they die of being betrayed by a gold digger woman. And they die of something we now know the name of. It's called the Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, broken heart syndrome.
Wow. That's a
It's
scientific.
The lower chamber in the heart floods when a man is betrayed by the woman he loves. And it sets a man up, particularly a man, for a heart attack. That's why there's 15 little old ladies to every one single man when you're past 50.
Interesting.
Men need to mate and marry good women more than women need to mate and marry good men. We women can often form groups, sewing clubs, book clubs, travel clubs, and we just have a ball amongst our own kindred spirits.
Is that why the statistic of men who get divorced or lose their first wife is much higher for a second marriage and a third marriage than women? That would that explains that. Now, what do
yes, it does.
Okay, what do you say to women who are in that category?
Which category?
The category
premenopausal or post-andropause?
Post-andropause. Who?
Okay, what do I say to them?
What do you say when Valentine's? I jokingly say is Singles Awareness Day, because if you don't have a date or if you're not dating someone, you're alone, and you could go out with your girlfriends. But I meet many, many women who say, look, I've had the love of my life, or I've been married. I'm done. They're in their 50s and they hate dating, and they really don't see the value in having a relationship. What do you say to those women?
I say, enjoy your spinsterhood or get a lover.
Okay. So you don't advocate them getting back on the horse, so to speak?
No, dear, it's none of my business.
Okay, so if they're convinced that they would prefer to be on their own, which is understandable, because when you're on your own, you don't have to compromise, and relationships really are not work because you're not in one.
Women are built to grind corn, babysit, take care of the sick over 50. That's what nature's designed us for.
Okay.
And whether you like it or not, do you know what the word cortisone is?
It sounds close to cortisone.
Cortisone is a French term, and it's about the job of older women is to deflower the younger men. If you saw the movie Young Victoria about Queen Victoria, you will see that Queen Victoria was a very masculine young woman, and she had two brothers, Albert and his brother, Cutie Pie Blondie.
Mm-hmm.
And Albert got her by being a gentleman. And he had her for life. She had one baby a year for 9 years. How many of us think of her as a big fat blimp? She was a perfect 8. Through 9 babies, I went to see the Getty Museum on Albert and Victoria's very, very big promotion of photography as an art form.
Mm-hmm.
They were kindred spirits. He set up orphanages and care centers for the poor, and she was queen. The day he died of a physical illness, and the pictures are all there, I went to see the museum piece. She started eating and petting dogs, and she became a blimp.
Interesting. That's a great history there. I didn't know that, because yes,
I know that, and I'll tell you something else. You know the phrase oral sex.
Yes.
Do you understand that eating is as close to oral sex as you can get?
Yes. I'm biting my tongue.
And that's why when I see a lady who's huge with a little teeny man, I know he's getting it all and she's not getting hers.
Really?
Oh, yes. I used to weigh 205 pounds.
Really?
Oh, God, yes.
I
weigh 124.
Yeah, I've never known you. When was this?
In 2003.
Okay. So 12 years ago?
My husband was dying.
Uh-huh.
And my doctor said, eat, don't drink at your pain.
Okay.
So I ate.
And what? And
And
what?
I survived.
So what?
So for you women out there that are eating as a way to exchange your sensual sexual nature for food, read The Craving Brain by Dr. Rubin.
Okay, The Craving Brain by Dr. Rubin.
Yes.
Because let me see if I understand this correctly. So I want to get that connection with the oral sex. So if you're not getting satisfied, if you're a woman and you're not being satisfied, that
yes,
you turn to food and you gain weight.
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to lose weight,
comfort food.
So if you want to lose weight, have a relationship with a man and get satisfied.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But in order to get satisfied, you have to set the standards. Men are not built for marriage.
Okay.
Marriage is for women and children. We women are the black Madonnas, the Madonna in spiritus. We're the ones, the yin people, who say, no to immoral, unethical, and illegal sexual behavior. So when women do not monitor the sensual and sexual behavior of men, you get used and abused.
So to balance what I just said, as a new diet method to be satisfied, don't do it. Don't hook up with someone just to have sex if they're going to abuse.
Never, ever. Animals have sex.
Okay.
Human beings, when they're spiritually sound, make love.
Okay. So in a way, you are coming back and answering that earlier question I had, that there is value in still having an intimate, satisfying, making love kind of relationship for women over 50.
I know that, but it can be satisfied by dancing.
Okay. You don't have to have sex.
Massaging. How many women out there have male masseuses?
I do. I do. Well, it's Chinese reflexology,
yes.
so.
Do you weigh closer to 130 or closer to 205?
Do I have to answer that question?
Well, that means the negative. Are you married or single?
Single.
Okay. And you have a male masseuse, but do you have a boyfriend?
No.
Well, do you go dancing?
Yes.
Dancing is as close to sex morally as you can get.
Okay. Yes, I do.
So
Not,
do you?
Yeah, I do dance,
You do
but
go
not
dancing.
Yeah, but like not once a week.
Is what?
Not once a week. Maybe once.
Not once a week.
Right.
That's like saying you don't eat except once every month.
Okay. So I have to either have a relationship. Every year I get dinged on this. Every year.
I want you to just go dancing.
Okay. Go dancing every week. Or as often
yes.
as possible. Okay. All right. By myself, with my girlfriends, doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
And
now,
be sure you get massaged by a professional masseuse who is not going to happy ending you.
Well, I don't do that.
Well, there are ladies listening to this show that might want to do that. But
Okay.
the problem with that is you'll get addicted to your masseuse.
Okay, yeah. Well, I do Chinese reflexology. Let's just clarify that. But I do that
Okay,
once a
so
week.
then
yeah.
you're on the right track.
He's cute, but yeah, there's nothing. He just does my feet. That doesn't sound good either. But he does Chinese reflexology.
What are the two spots on the human body that are most humanizing? Name them.
Most humanizing?
Yes. Remember the mirror neuron? That's a set of cells in our brain when we're born that by the age of 3, we have to have a grandma or a grandpa or somebody that's going peekaboo, peekaboo, huggy, huggy, huggy. If you're not petted and touched and loved before 3, you are going to be like a feral cat. You can feed you, you can water you, but you can't touch you.
Interesting.
Not very fun. And the book on that is Ashley Montague, Touching, the third edition.
So that brings me to another question. I have one from a listener who says, I don't have a physical relationship with a man. Is it a good substitute though to have regular self pleasuring in order to keep myself ripe?
I think masturbation. Are you standing or sitting?
Oh, well, I was sitting, but I'm going to sit deeper.
Okay. Are you willing to stand up?
I'm willing to stand up. Can we move the camera? Okay. Yes.
Stand up.
All right.
Now, see where the arms fall according to your body and your genitals.
Okay.
Are they in the right spot?
Like if I cover my privates, are my fingertips?
Can you use your hand easily with your genitals? Do they go to the right place?
Yes, they do. They do go to the right place.
Guess what?
What?
If God built us with our arms attached to our bodies so that they only go to our hip bones, we're going to have problems, aren't we?
Okay, so we're built for pleasuring.
We're built
okay?
to pleasure ourselves.
Okay.
Kids are masturbating in utero. In utero.
Okay. Really? I didn't know that.
You got it.
Okay. So well then, but it's crazy how.
What's crazy?
No. It's I don't think it's crazy, but what the crazy part is, it's so taboo to talk about it, to learn about it, to.
Now I'm going to tell you a little secret.
Okay.
Churches and governments want tax money and charity money. It's in their best interest not to promote self-satisfaction.
Okay. Why?
Sweden sent a camera crew over to America because people in Sweden are no longer marrying. They're having kids, but they're not marrying.
Mm-hmm.
So they picked 10 sexual experts in the United States to do segments on a TV series. I got to do dating.
Duty dating.
For the country of Sweden.
Wow. Congratulations.
But do you understand? And Patrick Carnes is my sponsor for McLean Hospital Certified Addiction Specialist. Do you remember who Patrick?
I think so. I met him, right?
He was going to be the expert witness on the Bill Clinton, Jennifer Flowers. He's now at the Meadows, I think.
Okay.
But he is the leading sexual expert in our culture.
And he was in the movie too? Or in the lecture series?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Because, no, he wasn't. It was, they had, John Gray was in it.
Okay.
It's about getting married. Patrick Carnes is not prejudiced pro or con marriage. He's just talking about these issues. For example, if you molest a little girl before her first period, you ruin her brain. She develops too many dopamine receptors, and she's the bad girl that screws around on her husband and gets killed and thrown on the freeway.
That's depressing.
That is what happens when you turn a little girl on before her period.
Huh. So what
Arthur Janoff has a wonderful book. It's called The Biology of Love.
The Biology of Love.
Arthur Janoff.
Okay.
It's about bad sexuality.
And
Women's Lib forgot to tell women not to take those fake balls home.
Fake balls?
They're fake. Women are not naturally built until they're old to be men.
Okay. I'm missing something here.
Women are prematurely imitating men when they're young. I'm going to make money. I'm going to be powerful. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah, that strong woman thing that you keep yelling at me about. Although, Dr. Pat, I have to say, I almost had a show there's still hope. We have one more day. But just to prove to you that I do listen to you, I was going to do, instead of the dating game on the air, I was going to do the waiting game and have 3
You know what?
bachelors.
More
And
power to you. By the way, I didn't ask you, are you a career woman or a woman with a career at this time in your life?
I am a woman with a career.
So you're looking for a man.
I am looking for a man. Yeah, that's why I'm doing the waiting game. I was
Okay,
going to put
except that
blindfold
you
on,
aren't-
so
you
not
aren't
see.
dancing. You aren't dancing.
Well, I would like to dance with a man.
I know that, but you got to go where they dance.
True. Guilty again. Every year
Do
I
you
get raked
understand
through the
what you're
romance
saying?
goals. Yes. I'm saying that
I have never, ever been without a man for the last, let's see, my last husband was 40. I have just negotiated a new relationship with a wonderful man.
Oh, it's not the same one from last year?
No, the one from last year died.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't
No,
know that.
he enjoyed his whole time with me.
Okay. Good. And I shouldn't have said I'm sorry. That was just normal sentiment. But
No,
I know he's
he
on
and
the other
I
side.
had a great time.
I know you
We were
did.
a wonderful couple. What?
I know you did. You told me. It was
But
fabulous.
I've got a new one going.
Wow.
And I'm 81.
You give me hope, Dr. Pat,
And
definitely.
my new boyfriend is 61.
So does that make you a cougar?
No, dear. It makes me a very young old lady.
Okay. Oh yes, that youngest teenager thing. So
That's exactly right.
All right. So how did you meet him? And
How did you meet him?
Yes.
Well, I do these seminars.
Yes.
My people find me. I don't find them. I'm not even looking for them. Because when I'm not with a man, I'm a career woman and I enjoy it.
Okay.
But I wait for a man to have the chutzpah. You know the word chutzpah?
Yes.
Jewish word.
Yes.
I'm Catholic.
Oh, okay.
But I know Jewish. My sister-in-law was a rabbi.
Oh.
Anyway,
I my
wait
mom
till
was
they spot me and have the courage. My husband of 18 years spotted me at one of my seminars, and he used all of my techniques to get me. And this guy's doing exactly the same thing.
Wow. So he came to
And
one of your seminars.
Negotiated the deal last Wednesday.
Ah.
So here we go.
That's
But
wonderful.
we're not having intercourse at this time. We may never have intercourse.
Okay.
Because I don't think I don't want to bury one more old man.
You think it was like too much sex?
I don't want to help old men die. That's why I'm going with the 61-year-old. I mean, now that's not young, but that's my age bracket, emotionally.
But you can still have pleasure without having intercourse.
Honey, yes.
Okay, just checking.
And to be very honest, older men, I do not want to have any man that has to take Viagra. I don't want people threatening their lives to have intercourse. Intercourse is a man's game. Affection is a woman's game. If you make me feel comforted and cherished, I don't care if I ever have intercourse.
Okay. But they don't feel that way, though. They want to have intercourse, as far
No,
as I understand.
wait a minute.
Okay.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yes.
They think we need them to have intercourse, and cougars do.
Okay.
I'm not a cougar. I'm a feminine woman that wants to be touched affectionately, whether it's dancing or cuddling or whatever.
Mm-hmm. But what about his needs?
Wait a minute. That's what I'm saying. 50% of men have erectile dysfunctions, and they take medicine, which can kill them.
Mm. But don't.
I'm not into people threatening their life just to have intercourse with me.
Well, absolutely not. But isn't the desire to have sex and the
Wait a minute.
popularity?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
There are so many things to do. My last man, who was 5 years, he pleasured me better than anybody in my life.
Okay.
And we never once had intercourse in 5 years.
That's what I'm talking about. I just
But
wanted to be clear. There's
taste, touch,
other
smell,
things.
see, and hear. Everything touching is not necessarily intercourse.
Got it.
We women, when we're feminine, we like affection. Yes, men that are men and virile, they often want intercourse, but only 50% of them are that.
Okay.
The rest of them, they can't get it up anyway.
Okay, so we're not going to make that clear about your new guy, but so that when I had the panel of men here and they were all, saying what they wanted in intercourse, but what you're saying is they were either part of that 50% or part of the group that was younger.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Good. And I'm getting the signal. It's that time to take a brief pause to thank the wonderful sponsors that make this show possible on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. We'll be back in 2 and 2. And today,
we've crash landed on an uncharted planet.
just for Valentine's, I brought back one of your favorite, if not the favorite, relationship and romance expert on communication, on many, many things. That's Dr. Pat Allen. Welcome back, Dr. Pat.
Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's some listener questions. Here's one from Katie. She gets a lot of attention. Men chase her, but she's afraid to date. On one hand, she's picky and she gets disappointed every time she goes on a date. And then the other side, she's very self-conscious. She has body imperfections. She's put on weight from her modeling days. And when the clothes come off, she doesn't want to disappoint them. What does she do?
First of all, she admits she's trained to be a spinster.
Okay. And then?
You see, the problem with being a model, the problem with being a model is you are your body.
True.
See, I will not ever date a man that respects me.
Okay, explain that.
If he doesn't know that I'm a woman, a ditzy blonde, off stage, off camera, because the only way I can be comfortable is if I don't have to be Pat Allen. Because Pat Allen is mother to the universe, and mother is masculine. And when I date a man, he better know I'm a ditzy blonde inside.
Okay. So that he's not
Because
threatened?
that man, what?
So that he's not threatened?
Yeah, he can, if he's afraid of me, he's going to abuse me.
Okay.
He's going to chop me down to his size.
All right.
Forget you. I'm my size, but I melt like a kitty cat when you cherish me. I go by Patricia or by Pat Allen. I was so funny one time, a nice man that I've dated, he said it was shocking to see the change in ego demonstration between Pat Allen, Genius of the Year, and Patricia, cuddly girl, petting kitty cats and smelling roses, that you have to decide, do you want to date Pat Allen? If so, you're probably using me as a therapist, and I'll spot you. If you date me as Patricia, you'll open my doors, you'll hold my arm, you will take care of me.
Yeah, but there's, this is what you're saying. Women's Lib has really taken the
But your little
soft
friend,
side.
the little friend that you're reading, she is too busy being a man. I've got to do good, feel, look good. I've got to perform. Here's the direction I would give her.
Okay.
I want you to flirt 5 days a week, 5 minutes a day, whether it's 1 minute or 3 minutes. I want you, as you walk about town, in the stores, in the restaurants, to look into the eyes of a desirable man and stay 2 seconds longer, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 3,001 seconds are normal. Those extra 2 are saying, come and get me, big boy.
Okay.
Now,
I'm going to practice on Jarvis.
four times. I want you 4 times to do it as you walk elevators, escalators. 1 time, there are shy men who will circle you at dances, at church, in the company. They'll circle you because they're shy. I want you to be planted, sit on a bench, sit down at the coffee shop, sit in Starbucks, whatever, so that a shy man can have the courage to come up and say, hi, nice day, isn't it? He or she who speaks first is masculine.
All right.
If you want to be cherished, shut your mouth and open your eyes.
Do you hear that, Katie?
And I want you to get 3 men to date you 3 times each.
Okay.
If you have no chemistry for them, when they ask for the 4th date, you say, thank you so much for the good times we've had, but I don't have the romantic feelings I need to go any farther, and I don't want to use you, and I don't want to lead you on. So if you choose to date me, you're dating a friend only.
Yeah. It's funny.
Isn't that ladylike?
I quote you and I use your advice when my callers call in about relationships, and I say, take the Dr. Pat Allen duty dating challenge and with those 3 dates. But I do get kickback all the time because they almost always say, if there's no chemistry the first date, why should I go on 2 more dates?
I'll tell you why.
Tell me
because
why.
Women's Lib taught them to do good. When you pick with your eyes, you're a man. When you pick with your ears, you're a woman. An ugly man can have the greatest sense of humor you ever heard. A balding man with a pouched belly could be so sweet to a waitress or a little kid that you say, oh my God, what a kind human being. Men know whether they're sexually attracted because they pick with their eyes. That's nature.
Yeah.
Women don't know because they're miseducated. They think they have to pick with their eyes and their ears. That's a narcissistic gigolo cougar woman who basically is picking for fast sex or easy money. That's a narcissist.
So
no.
Okay.
I want her to go out with that person 3 times before she graciously says, if you date me, it's only a friendship.
So the same thing goes for women who say, I'm not attracted because they're not financially stable, or they
You know
haven't
what?
got
Do you know that boyfriends don't have to be financially stable? Husbands do.
So
there are lots of men that are husband qualified, and there's lots of men that are only boyfriend qualified. But believe me, being alone is worse than being with a man you will never marry.
Really? Why?
Yes. because especially as you get older, hopefully you've taken care of yourself. If you want a man to pay your bills, you better be under 35 years old and ready to have his babies and take care of him.
Now, I know that some of my feminist listeners are having a really hard time right now. What?
You know what? So let them puke in the wastebasket and get back on the phone.
Well, I mean, this is one of the questions.
Polly, you didn't tell me I was muted. I hope you enjoyed that. I definitely am going to rethink some of my strategies. I know the one thing that I do is introduce myself as Dr. Marissa almost all the time because that's my brand and me and part of me. But if her research is what she is, and she's very research based, then I need to rethink that. And also my BS belief system that it is good and wonderful to be alone. Um, her saying boyfriend is way better than being alone. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. You can get the rest of that interview on my YouTube channel. It is a free subscribe. So, enjoy them. I think there's 5 of them at least for her uh, her 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 theories and her processes. And I am grateful that I've had that many interviews with her and that you can enjoy them anytime you want to. All right, that's it for today's show. Tomorrow is Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works. Maybe we'll examine some of what we got today in the Love Reset. But Friday is Tempting Conversations with Alon Carter, the daughter of the Temptations founder, Otis Williams. So spend the rest of the week with me. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever.
KCAA Loma Linda.